you. Okay, good afternoon to each and everyone who are watching this TV. I am Y.S. Gising, headmaster and political science teacher of Kumlinoms Higher Secondary School. So I'd like to welcome all the students of class 12 of Kalimpong. We are from different schools, and we are able to start the online education for the student of class 12 also from today. Now there are different teachers, they are taking different classes, and as a teacher of political science, I want to teach political science. Now, in political science, there are in class 12, there are altogether 10 chapters and 1 is practical, and out of 10, I'll start from today the chapter 6. Other teachers in political science, they will come and they will take other classes. So the topic of my discussion is the chapter 6, that is the organ of government. Organ of government हामी पढ्छौँ, यो चाहिँ chapter 6 मा छ, त्यहाँबाट हामी स्टार्ट गर्छौँ अनि अरू टिचरहरू पनि आएर पछिबाट पढाउनुहुन्छ. Now, organs of government. You know, in the society, some sort of system should be there, and for that system, there must be an agency, there must be a government. And in your class 11, you have learned about the formation of the state, about the composition of the state. And you find that one of the important element of the state is the government. You have learned there are 4 elements: number, population; number 2, territory; government; and the sovereignty. You have already learned this point, and today we'll see the government. Government is the machinery through which the administration of the country is carried on. And what we find here is government has to act. Government ले काम गर्न पर्छ, अनि government ले काम गर्दाखेरि त्यहाँनिर कतिवटा arrangementको कुराहरू त्यहाँनिर हुन्छ. We can compare the government with the human body. As you know, in human body you will find a number of organs, and all these organs collectively work, and there will be the functioning of the whole body. Similarly, government, in the government also you will find the organs, and in government you will find 3 organs. That means in the government there are 3 organहरू छ. फर्स्टलाई हामी भन्छौँ legislature. Government को पहिलो organ चाहिँ हो legislature. What is the function of legislature? Legislature is the law-making body. Legislature makes the law, passes the law. So in short term, we can call it an act. In the society, there must be rules and regulations, and these rules and regulations are to be framed. These rules and regulations are to be passed. So in the government, you will find one organ, that is legislature. So legislature makes the law, passes the law, and sometimes legislature also bring changes in the law. That we call amendment. That means the legislature also amends the law. Suppose a new law is there, and that law is not applicable according to the need, according to the situation. So the laws are to be changed, and that can be done by being amendment. So that's called amendment. So the first organ of the government is the legislature. And number 2, law is passed. Now there must be somebody to enact that law. There must be somebody to apply that law. There must be somebody to impose that law. And that body which apply the law passed by the legislature is called executive. The executive is that organ which apply the law that is passed by the legislature. As for example, we find a number of laws are there, and when the legislature passes the law, then the law is to be applied, and that body is the executive. So, executive, it executes the law. Now, third is, sometimes you'll find there may be some dispute. झगडा हुन्छ कोही बेला मान्दैन. जस्तो suppose a law is passed and the law is imposed and the citizen they do not obey. And whenever they do not obey, there will be problem. They will be arrested and the case is filed against them and the case is started. So there must be a body which settles the disputes, and that body is called the judiciary. It is called adjudicate. See here, so organs of the government, there are three organs: legislature, it enacts the law, it passes the law, it amends the law, and number two is executive, it executes or applies the law passed by the legislature, and the judiciary settles the dispute. If there is any dispute between the government as well as the people, public, or any department, then the law is executed by the judiciary. That means the such cases, such disputes are settled by the judiciary. So we find these three organs. I'll just give one example. Laws are necessary in the society in order to guide the activities of the people. As for example, we find there is a very important act that is known as Right to Education. Right to Education. Right to Education, अनि त्यसलाई चाहिँ के भनिदिएको छ? Act बनाइदिएको छ. So Right to Education Act हामी सर्टमा यसलाई भन्छ RTE पनि भन्छौँ. Right to Education Act. Now, the government had realized that in the country, without educating the people, it is not possible for the development of the whole country. So, the government realized that all the children, they should be given education. They must get the opportunity of education. That's why the government passed Right to Education. We can find the free and compulsory education up to class 8. Now, law is passed by the legislature, and that law is to be applied, it is to be implemented, and the law is passed to the, or it is handed over to the educational department. We find there are education department, education ministry, and that education ministry has taken the responsibility of the implementation of this. Now suppose, according to this, the children up to class 8 or age 14, they should be in the school. If कोही बेला हामी पाउँछौँ बजारतिर कोही नानीहरू काम गरिराखेको छ, उसको पढ्ने उमेर हो, 14 वर्ष पुगेको छैन भने त्यो नानीलाई सोधपुछ गरिन्छ र सोधपुछ गरेर उनीहरूलाई किन चाहिँ पढ्नु पाएन, किन चाहिँ तिमी चाहिँ यो काम गर्दैछौ, यदि कसैले चाहिँ काम गर्नु उसलाई लगाएको छ भने चाहिँ उसको एक्सन, उसको विरुद्धमा चाहिँ एक्सन लिन्छ. एक्सन इज टेकन अगेन्स्ट हिम or her. Case will start, and that case will be decided by the judiciary. So in this way, the government functions, the government works. So you'll find the government organs of the government ma तीनवटा legislature, executive, judiciary, तीनटा organले यसरी काम गरिरहेको छ. Okay. Now, as the government functions through these three organs, so there must be close cooperation among the three organs of the government. Executive, legislative, judiciary, all these three should come and they have to perform their responsibility. उनीहरूले आफ्नो ड्युटी त्यहाँनिर गर्नुपर्छ. Now, here what you find, मान्छेमा यस्तो पनि हुनसक्छ कि कोही बेला एकै ठाउँमा सबै पावर कन्सन्ट्रेट भयो भने चाहिँ त्यो अलिकति टिरानिकल पनि हुन जान्छ, अलिकति त्यहाँनिर अत्याचारको कुरोहरू पनि बढेर जान्छ. र especially when we see the history of the human being, human society, especially social history, political history, then we find in the ancient period there were kings even queen also, emperor also, empress also, and even rulers also. There were many kings, or even the queens also. They had concentrated all their power in their hands, and they exploited the people. Power सबै आफ्नो हातमा छ, ल बनाउनु पनि पाउँछ, कानुनलाई त्यसमा एप्लाई गर्नु पनि पाउने, अनि झगडा भए पनि उ आफैले गर्नु पाउने। त्यसो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ के भयो भने पावर कन्सन्ट्रेट भयो, अनि जनताको जुन चाहिँ अधिकार छ त्यो चाहिँ हनन हुन गयो। त्यहाँनिर एउटा भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट टर्म छ, लिबर्टी। You have learned about liberty in your class 11. So liberty, independence of an individual, that is individual liberty, personal liberty, etc. So when it is said that when the powers are concentrated to one person, to one group, to one association, then there will be suppression of the people. There will be infringement of the individual liberty. That means the individual liberties are suppressed. एउटा भनाइ भयो, सबै पावर एकै ठाउँमा हुँदाखेरि त्यो मान्छे चाहिँ अत्याचारी हुन्छ भनेर। जस्तो एन्सियन्ट पिरियडमा मेनी किङ्स वर देयर। दे वर number one, lawmakers. They used to make the law. They used to pass the law by themselves. Number two, they used to implement the law. And number three, they used to adjudicate the law. They used to settle the disputes also. So they were very powerful. Now many political philosophers from the very beginning, they had observed that this type of situation, if it continues, then it will be a great obstacle on the way of the individual liberty. यदि यही खालको चाहिँ कन्टिन्यू भयो भने चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने मान्छेको व्यक्तिगत आफ्नो जुन चाहिँ स्वतन्त्रता त्यसमा चाहिँ हस्तक्षेप हुन्छ भनेर उनीहरूले भने। हामीले हिस्ट्रीमा हेर्छौँ, and you know in class 11 you have learned that political science was born in ancient Greece, and there are many political philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, etc. And Aristotle, the great political philosopher who was also known as the father of political science, he had also remarked that there should not be the concentration of power for the liberty of an individual. यदि इन्डिभिजुअल मान्छेलाई राम्रो प्रकारले खुलस्तसँगले उसलाई बाँच्न दिनु भने चाहिँ यो concentration of power should not be in one hand भन्ने उनले पनि भनेका थिए। And in his writing, in his idea, he had expressed that idea. त्यसपछि हामी पछि पनि देख्छौँ, पोलिबियस भन्ने मानिसले पनि, अनि पछि अझै अगाडि जाँदाखेरि 16th सेन्चुरीमा हामी जिन बर्डिनको कुरा हामी देख्छौँ। त्यसपछि ह्यारिङटन, जेम्स ह्यारिङटनले पनि यो कुरा भनेका थिए। So with the passage of time, as the new ideas came into being, and these ideas are added to the stock of political science, the scope of political science, subject matter of political science, these ideas were also began to emerge. अनि त्यसो हुँदाखेरि चाहिँ बढ्दै बढ्दै गएर अन्तमा चाहिँ एउटा भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट पोलिटिकल फिलोसफर छ। अनि उनीहरूले चाहिँ के भने पावर सुड नट बी कन्सन्ट्रेटेड इन वान ह्यान्ड। त्यसैको लागि चाहिँ दे प्रोपाउन्डेड अ भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट theory in political science. It is called the theory of separation of power. Okay, now as the power should not be concentrated in one hand, and many political philosophers, they express their opinion that the government should take care of the people, take care of the individual liberty of an individual citizen. So many political philosophers, they support it, and they express the idea that all the powers should not be concentrated in one person, in one hand, in one association, but it should be separated. And this idea later came to be known as the idea or the theory of separation of power. Now next, in the this chapter, that in chapter 6, the very important topic is the theory of separation of power. And my dear student, I want to tell you that this question is important for your 2021 examination also. So this theory, the theory of separation of power, that you have to learn by heart, and it will be a help for you for your examination also. Okay. Now, theory of separation of power. So what is theory of separation of power? Theory of separation of power means the power, that is the power of the different three organs of the government, should be separated. Legislature, executive, and judiciary, these three organs should be separated. And as I have told you, this idea was first expressed by Aristotle while expressing ideas in ancient Greece, and later other political philosophers, they also repeated, or they also had supported this idea, and later in the 16th century also many political philosophers like Jean Bodin also, they also supported this theory. But in the modern time, that is in the modern way, in the modern form, it was Montesquieu. The first modern political philosopher who had given the concrete idea of the theory of separation of power is Montesquieu, and he was the French political philosopher. He had written a book. The name of the book is The Spirit of the Law. In 1748. I just want to tell you about this. He was from France, and in France at that time, the situation of France was not good. The people, they were not happy with the monarchs. They were not happy with the kings and the queens. The kings and the queens, they used to suppress the common people, because there was a concentration of power. The king of France, Bourbon dynasty, king of France, queen of France, they were the lawmakers themselves, and they were also the law applier, that is executed governally. And if anybody was against the king, then they were arrested and they were sent to the jail. You have heard about guillotine also. They were sent to guillotine. That means they were killed. So that type of situation was there. And in the midst of this, there are some political philosophers who wanted that. This is not good. These are the systems which are against the will of the people. These are against the individual liberty. So this should be changed. त्यो प्रकारको विचारहरू राख्ने मान्छे थियो, त्यो मध्ये हामी देख्छौँ मोन्टेस्क्यू पनि हामी देख्छौँ, हैन? सो उसले एउटा किताब लेखे, त्यो किताबमा द स्पिरिट अफ द ल, स्पिरिट अफ द लमा 1748 मा पब्लिस भएको थियो। उसले के भनेछ भने, he had given expressed the idea of the theory of separation of power. Now, there was another important philosopher who also supported this theory, and he was Blackstone. Blackstone was from Great Britain, that is English scholar, and he was a jurist also. And he has also written a book. The name of the book is Commentaries on the Law of England. So Blackstone, an English jurist, he supported the idea expressed by Montesquieu, and he said that in his book, the Commentaries on the Law of England, in that book he had expressed that when the king or queen run the administration, they have to think about the individual liberty, and for that purpose, the power must be separated. हैन पावर चाहिँ सेपरेट हुनुपर्छ एउटै मान्छेले सबै कुरो पायो भने के हुन्छ त्यो मान्छे पावरफुल हुन्छ अनि अन्याय गर्न सक्छ भन्ने त्यसै कारण चाहिँ के हुन्छ भने पावर सुड बी सेपरेट भन्ने कुरो गर्यो र यसरी चाहिँ now this has become a very important theory and in class 11 we have learned scope of political science हैन त्यसमा पढ्यो तिमीले the theory of separation of power is one of the important subject matter of political science and these were ideas were expressed by Montesquieu, Bergson and other political philosophers. Now according to this theory, according to the theory of separation of power, अनुसार चाहिँ के भन्दैछ भन्दाखेरि there are three organs of the government, legislature, executive and judiciary, and according to this theory there must be distribution of power. Legislative power should be given to legislature, executive power given to executive, and the judiciary power should be given to the judiciary. I just want to give one example. If you take the example from India, we find Union Parliament is there, which is the Union Legislature, and it passes the law. Regarding all the subjects, in order to run the administration of these subjects, the Union Parliament passes the law. Number one. Number two is Union government is there under the there's prime president as well as prime minister and ministers and even a large number of officers, and they collectively they are executive, and the law passed by the legislature, that the Union Parliament, is to be implemented by the Union executive. Then suppose there is any dispute regarding the implementation of the law, then there is judiciary. Supreme Court is there. So Supreme Court decides the cases. So there is distribution of power. That means according to the Constitution of India, the powers have been divided into legislature, executive and judicial. Three organs and three divisions of power are there. And according to this theory, non-interference. One organ should not interfere in the functions of other. Legislature should not interfere in the functions of executive, as well as executive should not interfere with the functions of the judiciary. Vice versa भन्छ नि है त्यसै प्रकारले जुडिसियरीले लेजिस्लेचरलाई पनि इन्टरफेयर गर्नु भएन. नन इन्टरफेरेन्स छ नन इन्क्रोचमेन्ट. यु नो द मिनिङ इन्क्रोचमेन्ट. अरूको अधिकारलाई आफूले लिनु, हस्तक्षेप गर्नु, जबरजस्ती लिनु. जमिनको इन्क्रोचमेन्ट हुन्छ नि हैन, आफ्नो एरियादेखि अरूको पनि आफूपट्टि तान्छ. So one organ should not encroach the authority, the power of or the rights of another organ. Non-superior. According to this theory, as the government has three organs, all the three organs are equal. No one is superior. कोही ठुलो कोही सानो भन्ने त्यो तीनटा अर्गनमा त्यस्तो चाहिँ छैन. अनि अर्को चाहिँ non-answerable to each other. What judiciary is doing? Judiciary is not answerable to the legislature. What legislature is doing? Legislature is not answerable to the judiciary or to the executive. So this is called non-answerable and independent of each other. Independent of each other. एका दुसरामा चाहिँ के हुनु पर्यो उनीहरु इन्डिपेन्डेन्ट हुनु पर्यो र यसरी चाहिँ के दिने यो थ्योरी चाहिँ यो कुरो भन्छ. So this is the idea of theory of separation of power. अब Montesquieu को भनाइ अनुसार पनि त्यही थियो. According to Montesquieu, उसको भनाइमा के छ भने there are three organs in the government. Legislature has to perform legislative functions, executive has to perform executive functions, and judiciary has to perform executive functions. These three organs should not encroach, should not interfere, should not control the other. All are equal, and they have to, all the three organs, they have to perform their duties. So this is the idea of theory of separation of power that was expressed by Montesquieu and supported by a number of other political philosophers. So this is the idea. Now the question is, म यो अलिकति भन्छु ल त्यहाँ Montesquieu, while explaining the theory of separation power, he had also related this theory with the theory of checks and balances. Theory of checks and balances. What does it mean? यसको मतलब के हो? Theory of checks and balances means as all the three organs are equal, so one should not interfere. So when all the three organs they perform their duty seriously, sincerely, without interfering, balance is there, and there should be if any organ cross the boundary or begin to exercise the power which is not its own, that means interference and encroachment, then there must be check. हैन नानीहरु मको हुन्छ कोही बेला के हुन्छ के काम दिएको हुन्छ उनीहरुलाई काम गर्दाखेरि अरूलाई पनि प्रभाव पारिरहेको हुन्छ हैन आफू भन्दा बेसी अरू पावर पनि खोजिरहेको हुन्छ त्यसमा चाहिँ के हुनुपर्छ चेक हुनुपर्छ हैन र त्यस्तै प्रकारले चेक्स एन्ड बालन्स theory of checks and balances mean one organ has to perform its duty at the same time also has to check that whether other two organs they are crossing their boundary or not, encroaching their power or not. So he related this theory with this. That means Montesquieu had also related the theory of separation of power with the theory of checks and balances also. Now this theory, as I have told you, the theory of separation of power, in theory it is very, very good. सुन्दाखेरि एकदमै दामी हो तीनजना मान्छे छ तीनजनाले आफ्नो आफ्नो काम गरिरहेको छ मजाले काम चलिरहेको छ भन्ने अनि यसमा चाहिँ के छ भने एउटा अर्गनले अर्को अर्गनलाई इन्टरफेयर गर्नु हुँदैन भन्ने कुरो पनि त्यहाँनिर छ अब यो चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकल क्षेत्रमा हो भने चाहिँ कतिसम्म हुन सक्छ यो यसको विशेष द मेन पर्पज अफ द थ्योरी अफ सेपरेसन अफ पावर इज टु provide the people, is to give the opportunity to the people, especially the individual members, their personal liberty. उनीहरुको आफ्नो अधिकारदेखि चाहिँ हुनु भएन तर अब एक्चुअल प्र्याक्टिसमा हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ we find a number of problems, a number of things which are against this theory of separation of power. Theory of separation of power lie at the time of implementation. It is not possible. A number of problems came to being. That's why the theory, though it sounds very good, but in actual practice, it has a number of defects. That's why many political philosophers have criticized it. So we find a number of criticisms against this theory. Okay, हामी अब के हेर्छौं अहिलेसम्म तिमीले बुझ्यौ क्रिटिसिजम तिमीले अहिलेसम्म आइडिया बुझ्यौ अनि आइडिया बुझेपछि अब यो थ्योरी चाहिँ प्र्याक्टिकली ठीक छ कि छैन त्यो हामीले हेर्नुको लागि चाहिँ अब धेरै जना पोलिटिकल फिलोसफरले यसको विषयमा के भनेछ त्यो हामी हेर्छौं अनि कतिवटा डिफेक्टहरु छ त्यो हामी हेर्नेछौं Okay, now we'll see the criticism against this theory. Why this theory is not acceptable? Many reasons are there. So, number one point is, the theory of separation of power cannot be implemented in reality. Modern time is, modern government has to face a lot of problems, and for that purpose, there must be close cooperation of all the people. So if we apply the theory of separation of power, then we find that the three organs of the government, they have to work in a separate way. They have to work not in close cooperation. They have to do their own business only. हामीले थाहा छ नि हेर कुनै पनि काम गर्दाखेरि a very important thing is there must be coordination. Suppose one responsibility is given to one person, then after the completion of that, he has to report, she has to report. Then only the second things can be done. And because of the lack of cooperation, there may be some problem in the society, even in the administration also. So here what we say, according to this theory, executive has to perform its own function, legislature, judiciary have to perform their own function. So in actual practice, this is not possible. So it cannot be implemented in reality. Number one, भयो. Number two, government is an organic body. Government is just like the living human body. You know? As I have already told you, in human body you will find a number of organs. हाम्रो खुट्टा छ, हात छ, टाउको छ, यसले आफ्नो काम गर्छ. As they do their own work, but at the same time there is close cooperation among all the three organs. So similarly, the government is an organic body. Government has to work in a very systematic, as well as in very close cooperation. I'll just give one example. Suppose the one school is to be established, no? Your school खोल्नु पर्यो त्यहाँनिर. And the MP said, okay, now I'll open the school, but there must be fund. Fund must be supplied, and for that purpose, who is responsible? Finance Minister is responsible. MP, as well as Finance Minister, and the department, that is Education Department, and also the judiciary is also involved, because where the school is to be established, who is the owner of that particular plot of land, whether that is according to law or not, whether there is any cases against that in the cases there in that land or not. So just to do one single work, all the three organs, they should come together, then only the things can be done. So in this situation, how the government, three organs, they can work separately. So for the administration of the country, all the three organs should come forward, because the government is an organic body, living. It is just like a living organism, growing and growing. For that purpose, combination of all the organs should be there. अर्को हामी देख्छौँ थर्डमा तीनजनालाई जिम्मा दियो भने के हुन्छ भने ओभरल्यापिङ फङ्सन पनि हुन्छ. कोही बेला एउटै काम अर्कोले पनि गरिरहेको हुन्छ, उनीहरूको एकादुस्रामा कनेक्सन नहुँदाखेरि. So if the powers are divided, if the functions are divided, there is the possibility of overlapping also. Same work can be done by the three organs also, or two organs also. This is possible because of the separation of power. And fourth is creates deadlock. एउटा म भन्छु है, के भन्छ भन्दाखेरि तीनजना मान्छेले काम गर्दाखेरि आफूले काम गर्छ, त्यसको बादमा अर्को मान्छेले के गर्दैछ को उसमा राखेन भने के हुन्छ भने उसले गर्छ भनेर भन्दाखेरि जुन चाहिँ काम हुनुपर्ने त्यो चाहिँ हुँदैन, डेडलक हुन्छ. चेस खेल्दाखेरि चेकमेट भएको जस्तो नि हैन, मुभमेन्टै हुँदैन हैन. त्यसै त्यो कुवाको पानीमा त्यो नबग्ने पानीमा बसिरहेको जस्तो हुन्छ, त्यो अगाडि नै बढ्दैन. र यदि if the three powers are separated and if the three organs they are to work independently without any close cooperation, then the work cannot be done. There will be obstacle, there will be deadlock, the work will be stopped. त्यसै कारण चाहिँ के भने यो theory of separation of power यदि इम्प्लिमेन्ट गर्यौँ यो के हुन्छ, it creates deadlock. Okay, now हामी जान्छौँ यो 6th पोइन्टमा. According to this theory, the criticismमा non-applicable in welfare state. I just want to explain welfare state. A welfare state is a state where the government is always in favor of the welfare of the people. For the development of the people, मान्छेको उन्नतिको लागि चाहिँ the government must come forward, हैन, whenever there is any problem. As for example, अहिलेको जुन चाहिँ वर्तमान परिस्थितिमा छ, COVID-19 को कारणले है लकडाउन भइरहेको छ, and the government is taking a lot of steps. The government is doing a lot in order to help the people. So in this type of situation, if the three organs they remain separated and they talk about their own power, then the problem of the people cannot be solved. So in the welfare state, welfare society, where the government's main purpose, main intention, main aim should be the welfare of the people, in such case, all the three organs should come forward, come in close cooperation among the three organs. So त्यस्तो बेलामा पनि के भन्दैन, the theory is not applicable. Next time, all organs not of equal power. According to separation power, according to Montesquieu, the theory of separation of power, in this theory, all power, legislative, executive, and the judiciary, all three organs should be equal. But if we see, we find that in many countries, in different times, what we find, all the three organs are not equal. Sometimes we find the executive is more powerful. Sometimes we find, sometimes the judiciary is also more powerful, and even the legislature also more powerful. So the idea of the theoretician power, according to which all the three organs are equal, actually, in actual practice, the three organs are not equal. So if the three organs are not equal, then the theory of separation of power cannot be implemented. अर्को हामी देख्छौँ, one organ has to perform other functions also. Sometimes one organ has to perform the functions of his own at the same time plus other functions also. I'll give one example. The President of India, he is the head of the Union Executive. He belongs to executive organ, but he is given one right, power, that is the promulgation of ordinance. When the parliament is not in session, and if there is situation, such a situation where there should be a new law in order to control, in order to manage the situation, then the President of India, being the executive head, he can promulgate or pass the ordinance. That means ordinance making means it is the law making function. And if you see, then we find this belong to the legislature. But the executive is performing this legislative function also. Similarly, in other things also what we find, in many cases, one organ has to perform the other functions of others also. त्यसमा हो भने चाहिँ this यो जुन चाहिँ छ, according to this, as one organ has to perform other functions, so the theory of separation of power is not implemented. अनि अर्को हामी देख्छौँ, separation of power not essential for liberty. Why many political philosophers, they have given emphasis on the separation of power. The main purpose is to provide justice, to let the people to enjoy the liberty. उनीहरूलाई individual liberty उनीहरूले पाओस्, individual freedom enjoy गर्नु पाओस् भनेर नै यो theory of separation of power चाहिँ emphasis गरिएको. तर हामी पाउँछौँ, even many countries in the world, where in almost all countries in the world today, what we find, though the theory is there, but in actual practice the theory is not implemented. In spite of that also, the people, they are enjoying individual liberty. They are enjoying individual liberty. It is said that if there is no separation of power, if all the organs are concentrated, then the people may not get the liberty. But nowadays we find in almost all countries, in 100%, this theory is not applicable. त्यसको मतलब चाहिँ के भने, theory of separation of power implement नहुँदा पनि मान्छेले individual liberty चाहिँ enjoy गर्नु पाउँछ भनेपछि यो theory नहुँदा पनि हुन्छ भने. So these are the criticism. According to this criticism, all these criticism, the political philosophers, they express on the basis of the practical situation of the administration, practical administration, etc. So the theory, after going through this criticism expressed by or criticized by a number of people, number of political philosophers, we find that in actual practice, the theory of separation of power is not acceptable. अब हामी यहाँनिर के हेर्छौँ भन्दाखेरि यो theory of separation of powerलाई criticismहरु हेरिसकेपछि what we find कि as theory it is okay, but in practically practically this theory is not applied. त्यसको मतलब चाहिँ in many cases the theory has been rejected. अब यसमा प्रश्न आउँछ त्यसको मतलब चाहिँ के हो? That means the theory has no value. Theory has no importance. That means the theory is totally rejected. अब यसमा हामी हुन्छ no, the theory is not totally rejected. The thing is, the most important thing is this theory has made liberty, the individual freedom of an individual citizen, very important issue in political science or in the political field. Most important thing, liberty. If the individual people are not given liberty, then there is no possibility of the development of the society, development of the country. So this theory has given importance to this idea, that is the issue of liberty. That is the most important contribution of the theory of separation of power. Okay, so now I want to give one homework to you. You just write one homework, and in your quarantine, in your home, you are in quarantine, so you do this homework. The theory of separation of power is neither feasible nor desirable. Discuss. Your homework is the theory of separation of power is neither feasible, possible पनि छैन अनि नट डिजायरेबल, चाहिएको पनि टोटली डिफरेन्ट बस्नु भनेको पनि होइन र त्यो भनेलाई तिमीलाई डिस्कस गर एन्ड इट क्यारी 8 marks according to the syllabus or the instruction given by the West Bengal Council of Higher Secondary Education. This type of question is given or allotted 8 marks. So you just try to answer this question. The theory of separation of power is neither feasible or not desirable. With this, we are in the end of this class, that is the political science first class. Okay, next time we'll see.